A lot to talk about, and for more on South Korea's economy, let's bring in current affairs commentator Einar Tangen from Beijing. Einar, thanks very much for joining us, and hope you're having a wonderful holiday season.
Absolutely, Sean. Thank you very much.
Let's pick up. We introed that last story by talking about being at a crossroads, but that could be generous. Some of the adjectives that have been thrown around talking about the economy of South Korea right now: terrible, horrible, not very good, very bad year. What's your take on this?
Well, I think the key factor is collective. A lot of bad things between the Samsung issue, the political uncertainty, Donald Trump in the West. South Korea is really wondering about the future, but I don't think it's that bad. There are a few rosy parts of it in terms of increasing demand from China, possible economic recovery in the West. If that goes forward, South Korea could look to a better year in 2017. Unfortunately, as we're closing towards the end of the year, everything looks very uncertain.
Yeah, exactly. And let's talk about some of the serious economic troubles, the problems. If you depend so much of your GDP is on export, something like 46% of South Korea's GDP is due to the export of goods and services. And let's put that in perspective. China is only 22%, and that's still considered a great amount. How can you put so much on the line, and if there's a downturn, global economies are affected, it seems like they're almost setting themselves up for something like this?
Well, I mean, this is the economic miracle that propelled them. You can't exactly say that the horse you rode in on is no good anymore. The issue is a lot of the people are wondering about these large corporations. I mean, shipping, electronics, especially in the fast-moving consumer goods area, cell phones. These areas have really undergone a lot of pressure. There's a lot of competition. And the question is, will Samsung and the other troubles be able to respond to this? And this is the real question. If they continue to provide the goods that the world wants, I don't think there's a problem. But this lack of innovation, too big to fail, scandals, this battery thing, this really has hurt the brand image of South Korea, which has been, up to this point, very carefully crafted. If you look at the K-pop and how that has been used to export the soft image of South Korea.
Well, let's also, we have to talk about the political scandal as well affecting the economy. Do you think that we will see a dramatic improvement if and when the current president steps down or is impeached? No,
I think politics in Korea will continue on. If you go back, every single president has faced a massive corruption inquiry, some sort of scandal. This one is by far the worst, to date. But, the apologies go forward there, but nothing really seems to change. We've been on this cusp of this issue about disassembling the turbos for so many years, but yet they still continue to hold it. The idea that you're going to somehow separate money from power has never really worked out, and it certainly has never worked in Korea.
Let's talk about underemployment and unemployment, especially among the nation's young. We've been talking in such negative terms. Do you think South Korea's economy is poised for even more of a downturn, perhaps a disaster in 2017?
Well, the key indicator there is the kind of tepid consumption internally and the household debt levels, which have been climbing steadily. Expect very, very little increase domestically in terms of consumption, and this is going to be a big thing. Although so much of it depends on this exports, imports are also important, and if you cannot drive your economy internally or be able to kind of shift things as China has done, you're in for long-term problems.
Okay, how can South Korea not be so focused on exports and the large corporations like Samsung and Hyundai?
Well, at this point, it's very, very difficult. They can try to bring, everyone's trying to bring jobs back home and all of this type of situation, but it's not as easy to disassemble the global supply chain, nor is it easy to live with the consequences of that. So I think South Korea is really stuck in this idea where they either get very competitive and they start producing the goods that are necessary to buoy their economy, and then slowly over the years try to change the way that they do business, bring more things home. But it's going to be very much of a challenge, especially for young people who are going to be.
We just have about 15 seconds. Just give me your thumbnail sketch of what the first few months, perhaps the first quarter, is going to be like for South Korea.
First quarter is negative. Hopefully, rising demand from China will help buoy the economy thereafter.
Great. Einar Tangen, as always, thanks for your insight. We appreciate it. Have a great holiday season.